Hello, everybody. We are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo. This is my forever co-host John, and today, since it's fairly near Christmas when this video releases, we'll be doing "It's a Wonderful Life," the Christmas classic from 1946, and stars Jimmy Stewart as George Bailey.
And yeah, it's an old one.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
think
old.
this is our first. This is our first like really old movie.
Yeah, like pre-50s
Review.
even.
Yeah, like World War time old kind of movie.
Yeah,
So yeah,
a year after World War II.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought we should do this because even though it is an old movie, the themes reverberate throughout the ages. I would like to think.
Yeah, no, I
It's too
agree,
real.
but there are some things here that I'm very like, oh, okay, that didn't age well, but
Yeah,
it's not major. It's not like it's gonna ruin the film, like how you know Han Solo acts with Princess Leia. Like I don't really agree with that.
yes, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this film is a bit too real at times too, and you're like, why can I relate to this too much?
I mean, like maybe first 1 hour and 40 minutes, I couldn't really relate. But I mean, I guess. But yeah, like at the start of the film, you have our main character George Bailey, and all I gotta say is just the most likable person in
Yeah, in
town.
the world,
Yeah, like he is a good guy, and like we have this whole God talking to his two angels, Joseph and
Clarence.
Clarence.
Yeah,
Not the most majestical name, not gonna lie.
no. And they're here to answer the prayers of the people who are asking about to for God to look over George Bailey because he is going through a lot of trouble. If I'm not gonna lie, he's in deep shit at this point.
Yeah, and like going through it, you're like, who the hell is George?
Yeah,
Why does so many people care about him? Like you hear maybe 10 different people praying for him, especially his kids and his wife,
yeah,
and you're like, who's this George? What's he about? And then we get his entire backstory. Well, they give Clarence a recap of like, hey, okay, here's what you're dealing with,
yeah,
and yeah, you see George Bailey is most likable person. Man pretty much saved a kid from being poisoned by a drug pharmacist.
yeah. Who lost his own son and for some reason or from some mistake he mistakenly gives the kid a poison pill, and you're like, huh,
Why? Why? Wait, okay. One thing is like, how did he know that it was a poison pill?
instinct, I guess.
What was there like a skull and crossbones on like
Yeah,
a copper tin or something?
they never explain it. You just go with it. It like, oh yeah, George is a very observant kid, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and and like he saves his brother from drowning in ice, which he loses his like hearing on his left ear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he also has, as time goes along, he has hopes and dreams of going to Europe, traveling the world, and going to
By the
college.
Yeah, but by the way, going back, when I say, oh, you can tell that this didn't really age that well. If you want to see a grown man slap a boy silly, this is your move. Because I was like, holy shit, calm down. His ear was even bleeding. I was like,
Yeah, please stop.
but
I'm begging you.
it was the 40s.
Yeah, and like also meet the main antagonist, Mr. Potter, who's just a bad person throughout the entire film. You're like, you have
Yeah.
nothing. You have no
He,
redemption arc. You're
no,
just
not at
bad.
all. He's just Scrooge McDuck without the three, you know,
Yeah.
ghost of Christmas.
Yeah, he's just, if Scrooge never learned from his mistakes or was never humbled by the ghost, he's just like, I guess he becomes Mr. Potter forever.
That's very true.
Yeah.
In a wheelchair.
Yeah. And Mr. Potter is also trying to screw or take over the loan company that George's father is handling. Well, George's father, you think, like, the plan for George is like he goes fulfill his dreams while his father holds down the business, but life has other plans when his dad has a stroke and dies, and George has to take over. And he's like, I guess, I guess I won't travel Europe, but I'll go to college. And then, as the committee is like, no, we'll keep the loan company. We won't let Mr. Potter take over. But you, George, you have to stay and watch over this company. And he's like,
Yeah, he was
fuck.
forced to be a CEO
Yeah,
of said company, and we did skip a part about like Mary and like the whole like I'll lasso a moon for you.
yeah.
Where was that from? I remember it was from another movie that they like
Barb.
used that. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. The
Right?
only
Like you remember you'll lasso the moon for you.
the only example I have is Bruce Almighty. That's about it.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's why he did the whole pulling the moon thing.
Yeah. Is the scene in the bushes the part where you're like, I don't like that?
Uh-huh. Where I was like, oh, this doesn't even happen in like, the simple old town.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen really often where he has her like
Robe.
robe because they like fell into the gymnasium pool that opens under like above a basketball court.
Yeah, I don't know
Why?
how that works either.
I neither do I. I was like, do we still have those?
Yeah, right? It's like, coach, I need to swim. He's like, give me a moment. Rick.
You know what's so weird though? Because this is a Christmas movie. This is
Yeah.
a feel-good movie where we're supposed to learn lessons and all that jazz. Where being a likable person, being a good person, not a likable person, being a good person, has so many benefits. But the thing is, I was like, if kids are watching this, they're not gonna understand jack shit because they're like bonds and the stocks. See, like.
Yeah.
You got insurance? I'm like, what? What? Like, I'm 30-something years old, and I was like, I don't even know how bonds work.
Right? I was like, I don't know. I guess times were truly different back then. Really are. They're like,
Yeah.
you must understand bonds and insurance in your 20s. I was like, I'm still trying to figure out life.
Great Depression, see? I'm like, what?
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're over here being like, I still need to figure out life. What are you talking
Yeah, and
about?
like... and George Bailey is like 21 and already a CEO. He's like trying to manage all this shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, or you're 28, I'm 25. And I'm like, I just got my first job.
All right? Like, I just started this year. What? But you see that all these things that are happening to George definitely have an effect on him. Like, it embitters him. He's just like, I had so many dreams and hopes, and now I have to either put those on hold, or they're not coming through at all. I can't even seem to get the girl of my dreams because she's with this rich guy from our town who's like some stockbroker or business CEO who's making
Wait,
money.
who's the girl of his dreams?
Mary.
Really?
Yeah. What?
Oh, I thought like Mary was like there ever since.
I'm sorry, what?
I thought Mary was there ever since. Like she was in that town.
Yeah.
Or did she move out and she came back?
I think she moved out and came back.
Ah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But you see that it definitely weighs heavy on George. All these things that are pausing everything he wants to do in life. He's like, I thought my life would go one direction. This great adventure or me accomplishing great things, but I'm stuck in this stupid town. I don't get it. Why? But
Yeah, go on.
and like you also see how it affects his personality, like when he goes over to Mary's place and he's just not the best company right now. We're like, yeah, you are a dick.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dick. Such a weird thing, like, cause they meet up again, and it's like, and she's like, oh, he pretends like, oh, wow, Mary, you're back. He's like, your mom told me you would come in.
Yeah.
I was like, traitor, but like, as they go around, you see him like grab her by the shoulders and start shaking her. I was like, it's like I had dreams, I had to travel. It's like, what am I gonna do? Get married? And then they kiss, and I was like, what?
Yeah, they're like, huh?
I thought you guys haven't seen each other in years.
I thought your mom was about to call 911.
Yeah, I don't like. I love how Mary was like, it was like, "What are you doing down there, you two?" It's like, "We're making out." I'm like,
Or
"Well,
Hyakin, she's like, but you're with Sam. How could you? Like, sure. You know what? Sure.
yeah."
Uh,
And then the next scene, they're just married, and I was like, "Wow."
yeah,
Odd thing too is that no white dress or anything.
yeah. You're just like, I guess it's a tough time to get married. You know?
I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're so excited. Again, same with like the start of this movie where George just has dreams and wow, had so much. How would I say
ambition.
spark, ambition, and spark in him. Holding a $2,000, like a wad of cash for $2,000,
Yeah,
which is a lot back in the day, I'm guessing.
yeah,
And like they're gonna go on their honeymoon. They're gonna pretty much buy out the entire place. They're leaving the town. By
yeah,
the way, that's a thing too. This town feels like a character on its own,
yeah.
especially with its people. But yeah, man goes off, and then he sees a little bit of trouble, and I'm guessing this is the Great Depression.
Oh yeah, definitely. Where people are panicking and withdrawing their money as soon as
Yeah,
possible.
because Mr. Potter, the asshole, closed the bank. But I
Yeah,
get it. I get it. But
yeah,
at the same time, we're like everybody's just clamoring for money. Where I'm like,
yeah. And people are about to leave the Bailey loan business, while George
yeah.
is like, "Wait, I have money. I can lend you money." And you
Well,
see,
his wife said she had money.
yeah, she gives the money to the people that
Yeah.
need it at the time, and you're like, "Wow, life this." For whatever reason, the writer decided that life just isn't on the side of the Baileys at the moment. You're like, oh, feel bad.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
And like, there was that one asshole. He was just like, "I need money to get by." I was like, "How much do you need?" $245. I was like,
uh,
even George Bailey was like, "Okay, hold on, I can't do that." But he was like, "How much do you need to survive?" $245. I was like, "Fine, here." And he just gives him $2,000.
yeah,
You mine it. It's like 10%. I was like, this son of a bitch asked for 10%. Well, everybody else was like $17, $20.
yeah,
He even kissed a nice lady on the head because she asked for less.
yeah, and you're like, oh, yeah. At least
Yeah.
most of the people here are nice. You know,
Yeah,
they're
except for that one guy who's just like 200.
yeah, they're self-aware. Like, I forgot the term in Tagalog, but like, the rest are aware of like, hey, we can't take advantage of George like
Oh,
this.
mahihain.
Yeah, like you have no shame, asshole.
Exactly. But but it he does sacrifice his his honeymoon, his like nice life.
Yeah,
I can't quotations. His wonderful life. No credits. Um, for for the townspeople, which I guess it's kind of like playing Heavy Rain, where like, oh, they won't forget this.
right,
You know,
exactly.
like your meter for whether you're a bad guy or a good guy like goes up or down.
Yeah,
His went extremely high.
exactly. Yeah, but like, at least, at the very least, like him and Mary buy the house they wanted that night when his dad had a stroke. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
at least life is looking up. And then after that, the angel's like, all right, we brought you up to speed. Now here's the real problem where you see before that, like George has a moment with Mr. Potter where Mr. Potter's like, look, I can offer you the life you wanted for a lot of cash. But George is like,
Well,
"Mm,
What, $20,000 a year
yeah,
in World War II money? My God, how much is that? Like $1 million?
probably.
Yeah.
But George is like, nah, man, I know you. I know you too well. You're gonna take advantage of me once I say yes. You're gonna screw me over and you're gonna screw this town over. Fuck you. I'm not taking this job.
Yeah. Well, to paint a picture for Mr. Potter, he's the type of guy to give you a house, but it's a shitty house, but you pay like a shit ton of money, like enough for you to maybe buy yourself your own house.
Yeah. And you're like, why am I paying for this asshole while George is making nice houses for everyone? Why?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's his entire thing, is that he makes nice houses for everyone who deserves it.
Yeah. And again, it's just like during the Great Depression, so you're like, George is really sacrificing a lot just to make this town happy to. He's literally putting others before him. He's a saint of this town, and you can't really see. That's why when the guy asked for $200, you're like, you fucking asshole, this George has given a lot already. Why? Stop it.
Yeah. Sorry, if I was... I ain't no George Bailey. I'm like, fuck no.
And then like World War II happens and everyone's doing their part. And George's brother Harry wins the Medal of Honor, and everybody's celebrating. Like even his
He doesn't win it here. He doesn't win it. He earns it.
Sorry, win it. Hey, it's not life. It's not a video game. You fool. Earns it through his courageous acts.
Yeah.
And then like the uncle is celebrating, and he even rubs it in Mr. Potter's face.
Oh my god, I hate this. Like, not gonna lie. Sure, be as nice to a lot of people as much as possible. But my god, Uncle, what's his name again?
Uncle something. Uncle Bailey.
Yeah, whatever. The uncle, pure on idiot.
Yeah.
I don't like him. I was like, this piece of shit. And he was like, oh, ever since my wife left me, I've never been okay. It doesn't mean you can lose $8,000 in World War II money.
Like,
Imagine this, $8,000 in World War II money.
Yeah.
That's like...
And he's just like, whoa. He's just like, whoopsie, I lost it. You're like, what do you mean? You lost it, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, he puts it on his fucking newspaper, leans over to rub it into Mr. Potter's face, and drops it into Mr. Potter's lap. And Mr. Potter's like, oh, what's this? Oh, well.
Yeah, he's like, son of a bitch was making fun of me anyway. I'm not going to give it back.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, well deserved. When you see George Bailey, you're like, where's the money, you son of a bitch?
Yeah, again, you're like, how do you lose that? How?
Yeah. I know it's supposed to be a feel-good movie, but it's starting to get real here. But you see George Bailey just like in shambles. He's just like, where's the money, you motherfucker?
Like the bank's about to foreclose on his business too, unless he comes up with that money. That money was supposed to be a sign of like everything is good here. You don't have to foreclose us, please. I'm begging you. But no. Yeah. And like he does the thing where everybody's like, I'm fine. It's all fine. I have no problem.
He kind of takes it out on his family a bit. But
like, I'm fine. Stop playing the fucking piano. The kid's like, he's practicing.
You just see him. He just like knocks everything in the house. It's just he just like tosses like the dioramas everywhere.
The little kid who's like, Daddy, I made a fart. You're like, I don't think you're fine. I don't, sir.
It was this kid. He was just like, excuse me. Like as George Bailey like walks into like the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like kid just kept going, excuse me, and it's like, what? I burped. I was like, you fuck.
Like, your inner voice is just like, can you please go away? Can you please just fuck off?
Yeah, when you paint a picture. $8,000. You just like $8,000 in today's money. If you lose it, you'll be very pissed off.
Yeah.
More if you lost $8,000 in World War II money. I'm sorry, like I'll be pulling my hair out as well. I'm like, son of a bitch.
I think
You're supposed to pay off the company.
And then he talks smack to the teacher who let Zuzu walk out in the cold. To be fair, it's the teacher's fault of being like, that kid doesn't need a coat.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I would have had the same reaction. Like, my kid got sick because of you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, she's just a teacher. But I was like, she's supposed to make sure the kids are safe as well.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go.
Also, I guess World War II times, it's like kids just get to walk home from school.
I guess.
Well, I don't know how American schools work. So.
Yeah, and then he starts talking smack to her husband. And you're like, okay, now you're way out of line.
But I love how they talk. It's like, oh yeah, let's see how you are.
Yeah.
Like, like meet me outside. Like,
Yeah.
they're talking old American.
Yeah. If you're man enough, meet me outside the bar. And then sees him in the bar. The guy's like, what's the guy's name? Oh,
It was like, Mr. Bailey, which one? Whack.
You're like, poor George. It's just getting the shit. Life is just literally kicking the shit out of him, to the point he gets drunk, crashes his car, and then ends up on the bridge. And you're like, I don't like this.
You know what's the weirdest part is that this is where the story actually begins.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so once his life starts to fall apart, which is the last hour
Yeah.
or last 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
and
most of it was just a recap of his life, and you're just like, I feel sorry for this man. Fuck.
which is, I would say, a very important, a very pinnacle part of the story.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, so George is having a very tough day and found a very nice bridge to maybe jump
Yeah.
into. I was actually, I watched a couple of YouTube videos on this. I remember somebody said it was like, oh, that doesn't look that high. I don't think that's enough to kill him. I was like, the water's freezing, bro.
Right?
It's snowing.
Yeah.
We don't have snow here, but even I know I ain't going in there.
Right? You're like, yeah, let's say the fall doesn't kill you, you'll probably freeze to death in a few seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see his angel. Well, actually, to be honest, it was just a random person to us at the beginning.
Yeah.
We see Clarence just a random character just jumps and I was like, oh, I guess you weren't alone on this one, bro.
He's like, fuck, I have to save him. And he saves him, and Clarence explains who he is, and the guy with him, he's like, oh fuck, no. He acts like, oh fuck, I've been through this before. You're like, huh?
Not again.
You're like, why are you acting like this has happened to you multiple times? Like, how many times have you seen a guy and his guardian angel on this bridge trying to keep each other safe? Answer me, riddle me this, bridge man.
But yeah, so we meet Clarence, and he explains I jumped in so you would save me, so you don't jump.
Yeah.
And I was like, so technically I saved your life. And I was like, oh, this bitch.
Yeah. I was like,
sorry to the angel Clarence.
And George is just really having a bad day. He's like, you know what? I wish I didn't exist. I wish I was never born. And Clarence is like, that could work. And George
is that where it comes from? Like every Nickelodeon cartoon always has that Christmas episode where, oh, what would happen if I wasn't born?
Probably.
Yeah, this is where it stemmed from.
Yeah. And George gets his wish. Well, gets the wish he didn't know he asked for. You see what life is like without him. You're like, fuck. It's horrible.
But to be honest, not gonna lie. Okay, maybe he was drunk, and also you wouldn't really believe it either.
Yeah.
But not gonna lie, maybe after the third or fifth person you've come up to and be like, "It's me," and they're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Oh fuck," maybe you would have gotten to the point where "Oh shit, okay, it's not funny anymore."
Right? Well, George is just asking everybody, including his wife. You're like, if I saw the second person and they're like, "Who the fuck are you?" I might have been like, you know what? I think I said the wrong thing. I think this is it. This isn't funny anymore.
You're like, no, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. But no, he interrogates the entire time. Like, it's me, it's George. Like, huh? Who's George?
We don't know you. Even the bartender is kind of like, you better get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then they meet the pharmacist from the beginning.
Yeah.
Where he's in shambles, and you're like, wait, what are you doing? He's our pharmacist. Yeah, he killed a kid 20 years ago. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Harry's not alive because no one's there to save him.
So the entire thing is just showing what the town and how many people are affected by George not being born.
Yeah.
And it's such a it's kind of a nice message that like you have an impact in people's lives.
Yeah, you have an impact on the lives of others and vice versa. And like with that absence, there would be a void in their lives and a void in your life. You're like, perspective. That is a very powerful thing.
It is. It is. Which makes me laugh so hard when Fairly Odd Parents did the same thing, but everybody was doing well off without Timmy Turner.
Yeah, like that's a horrible message. Why?
It is. But at the same time, I just laughed. I was like,
Yeah, like I guess this shows an asshole to Timmy Turner. Jesus Christ, why?
yeah.
But no, George goes back to the bridge and he's like, yeah, I don't want this. I really don't. I wanna live life flaws and all. Please just let me get back to my old life. I wanna live. And the cop's like, George, and he's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna fucking fight you if you try anything, bitch.
He was like ready, like I'm gonna hit you again.
Yeah.
But I understand because when you not accidentally, when you shake up your wife and be like, remember me? And she's like, no. And then you storm off, and that same cop opens fire into a crowd.
Yeah.
I feel like I would like ready up a fist as well.
Yeah, it's like
But
that.
by the way, I always noticed the taxi driver and the cop.
Yeah.
Their names,
What are their names?
Bert and Ernie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
And they were like the duo. They were the ones who like sang outside of the house on their honeymoon.
yeah.
Yeah. Like they're the one who prepped everything.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Sesame Street kind of took that from them.
Yeah, you see where a lot of movies take inspiration from this, and you're like, that's where it's from. And
Yeah.
George realizes how, no pun intended, how wonderful life is, and he's like, yeah, I'm in debt, I'm in a shit ton of debt, but you know what, life is still beautiful. He says Happy New Year, Merry Christmas to everybody, even Mr. Potter, who is like, yeah, I'll see you in jail, bitch. Bye. You're like, I guess there's no redemption for this guy. Jesus.
No,
Check-
not at all.
Check kind of
He's gonna die
appreciate it.
old and alone.
Yeah. Check
But,
kind of
yes.
appreciate it. It would be weird if he's something like Merry Christmas to you too, George. Like, where'd that come from?
Right? Like he suddenly becomes a good guy. But yeah, like George comes home. I guess the IRS is there.
Yeah.
I don't know who they were, but like, they're like waiting for George, and then he's like looking for his kids and his wife,
Yeah.
and he's all happy even though he knows he's going to jail. And then Mary comes in. He's like, "Hey, I have a surprise for you." And it's all the townspeople that he helped.
Yeah.
Coming in to pitch in to help George keep the company and not go to jail.
Yeah. To keep his life too, and you're like, oh, you're fairly touched. Well, I was fairly touched. I was like, oh, I'm kind of getting emotional. Just,
Yeah,
Everybody
like this is my
loves him.
first time watching this movie. I'm not gonna lie. It's the first time watching this movie, and I was like, how is this gonna end? I really don't know how this is gonna end.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's either
And
has a bittersweet ending or some miracle happens, and the latter does happen.
Yeah, the miracle does happen, but it's like it's a believable miracle.
Yeah.
You know, like the entire movie was building up to this moment where being the nice person, giving us like putting others before you,
Yeah.
does have its benefits. Like when shit goes down, they're still there to be like, hey, you need a hand. So I like that lesson, man. It's probably one of the best lessons
Yeah.
you could have in Christmas, you know?
And by the end, you're like, for George and for the rest of the audience who are watching this movie, you're like, it truly is a wonderful life, no matter how you look at
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's a very touching and wholesome lesson, and the movie ends very wholesomely too. You're like, oh, okay, nice
Yeah.
movie. That's why.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that's why we did this, because it is a classic. But yeah, what would you rate It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah, it's a wonderful life. I would give it a 9 out of 10. It's a really good movie. Some stuff I don't agree with, but again, it's a product of its time.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's such a good movie with such a great lesson, and they put in themes where like other movies would be like, oh, maybe you won't really understand this concept.
Yeah.
Like bonds and money and how to hold up a company and being in debt. This got a little too real by the end of the movie, but then again, that's not really the point.
Yeah.
It's like no matter how hard life hits, as long as you're good to people, those people are willing to help.
Yeah.
No matter how hard life does hit. And I love that. I really love this movie, and I would gladly watch this with like my family, my girlfriend, maybe and my nephew, but he can't comprehend what bonds or taxes
Or the
any of that shit is yet. So,
or hasn't comprehend, you know, the weight of life, of like, oh god, sometimes it does get heavy. Jesus.
Yeah, and it's like like Tito Joma. Why is that grown man hitting that child? But yeah, it's a 9 out of 10. It's such a great movie, and I suggest everyone to watch it for Christmas.
Yeah, I'll also give this a 9 out of 10. It's a pretty good movie. It's a classic for a reason, and the themes and lessons reverberate. Like, again, just the perspective of like, you do leave an impact on people, and people leave an impact on you, and just wondering like how much of a void that would be if either one of you guys are absent from your lives. And you just think for a while, and you're like, this movie hits harder than it does for an old movie. But I appreciate that. And by the end, you're like, you know what? The movie is right. It is truly a wonderful life. To be blessed with great family and great friends who are there to help you lift the weight of the world when it gets too heavy. And that's about it. But before we wrap this up, is there any, I guess, pre-80s movies that you do like watching?
Pre-80s movies?
Yeah.
Yojimbo.
Oh.
It's a fun movie. Samurai, it's 3 hours. Nice.
Yeah.
No.
I will go with, you know what? Since the new movie's coming out, I would go with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the classic one.
Oh fuck, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that came out in the 60s though.
Yeah, I said pre-80s. So 60s.
Oh right, sorry.
All good. Yeah, those are good choices. Yojimbo and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. They're classics for a reason that everybody loves. But yeah,
60s, 70s.
Yeah, Yojimbo is the 60s.
And I think Willy Wonka was like 70s. My bad. Anyway.
Yeah. Huh, I need to refresh then. Anyway,
Yeah,
but yeah,
same here.
that's our video for It's a Wonderful Life. What's your favorite classic movies from before the 80s? If you guys have any, please comment down below. If you like our videos, please leave them a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok to see our best and funniest moments, and Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, I am Zoda's Voices on TikTok. I do funny voices, I do serious voices, I do everything in between. And yeah, if you are interested in that, please follow the link down below. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me at JohnG__ on Instagram. It is my own account.
And until the next video, we'll see you then. Bye everybody, have a great Christmas.
Ciao. And Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year.
Yeah.